This is a short video to learn about chromatic chords, or the notion of mode mixture. Mode mixture has to do with borrowing notes from the parallel minor or the parallel major. It's prominently featured in the music of 19th century, though we've heard it throughout a lot of music history. Think, for instance, of the Kirky Third. In a Bach prelude and fugue that's in the minor mode, he frequently comes to the end of each piece with a bright and happy tonic chord. Let's listen to one. Let's listen to the beginning of this C minor fugue to get in the minor mode. Let's go ahead and skip to the end now and listen to how it ends. Kirky Third. Most of the time, however, we will be in the major mode, borrowing from the parallel minor. A reverse kind of Kirky Third, if you will. So, to be a little bit silly here, if you think of a Kirky Third and you think of Star Trek, as you naturally would, and maybe you're thinking of Captain Picard, a very serious captain who occasionally comes through with a moment of enlightenment where he smiles and the whole room is lifted. If that's the case, of course, the opposite of a Kirky Third would be a Kirky Third. Okay, so that was a bit extreme, but who doesn't love a little Star Trek humor? Let's look how the borrowed pitches actually work in context. Look at these two scales. We have G major on top and its parallel G minor on the bottom. The difference between the two scales are scale degrees 3, 6, and 7. Let's listen to how these two scales sound. If you alter scale degree 3 above a tonic chord, you change its mode. So that was an example of a Kirky Third. I'm just kidding. We won't really call it that, but this is a borrowed chord. Notice that G major chord becomes G minor when we flat the 3. As a result, the major 1 Roman numeral turns into a lowercase Roman numeral 1. If you're in a major mode, flat 6 is often borrowed from the parallel minor. What this does is, for instance, creates a minor subdominant chord. So if you're in G major, a major 4 chord is C, E, G. Flatten scale degree 6, move La to Lay, and you get a minor 4 chord, or a minor subdominant chord. Sometimes you'll see a combination of scale degrees used. For instance, the flat 3 and the flat 6 together. Notice in G major, the 6 chord, E, G, B creates the minor submediant chord. If you flat 3 and 6, you end up with a flat submediant chord, E flat, G, B flat. Notice how this Roman numeral is written. The quality is major, therefore the 6 is capital letters. And you must indicate a flat 6 in front of the Roman numerals to show that that scale degree has been altered from its major orientation. The other scale degree, which is the 7th scale degree, changes our leading tone chord, F sharp, A, C, to a flat subtonic chord where we actually alter 7 down to F natural, and we get F, A, C. Again, because we have altered the scale degree, we have to put a flat in front of the Roman numeral. Let's look how it's used in actual progressions. The common chord progression, just looking at the bass, of do, la, fa, so, do, or 1, 6, 4, 5, 1 features a borrowed chord. It's the flat submediant. Notice on the third chord there that the A flat comes into the texture. That is a flat scale degree 6, changing what's supposed to be a big 4, major subdominant, into a minor 4. Let's listen. Isn't that interesting? That little instance where A flat comes in adds just a bit of coloration that is intriguing. And when it's in a real musical context, not this reduced down chorale type voice leading, it sounds wonderful. Let's listen one more time. Here's another progression. Instead of do, la, fa, so, do, what if you borrow the flat 6 and the flat 3 together, creating that flat submediant chord? So instead of do to la, it now becomes do, le. Listen to how that modal borrowing changes the entire coloration of this phrase. Another great use of the flat submediant chord is to use it in a deceptive cadence. This sounds even more interesting, as if moving into that deceptive cadence is doubly deceived by its borrowing from the parallel minor. I love that sound. Of course, you can be in the minor mode and borrow from the parallel major. It's not just reserved for the Kirky Third. You could do the same scale degrees. You could borrow scale degree 6 from the parallel major. That would make le, la. So 1 to 4, instead of going minor to minor chord, you could borrow la, or the major 6, and it gives you a major submediant chord. Let's listen to this. In the quickness of this sort of progression, it probably felt a little unclear what was happening. Let's listen again, noticing that the minor tonic moves into a major submediant before going into a minor cadential 6/4 progression. The function doesn't change, the quality of the chord changes. Of course, there are many other chromatic chords, but we'll save that for another day. For now, try your hand at practicing some borrowed chords. That is, borrow from scale degrees 3, 6, and 7.